Today we will be talking about a funny little series called und Panzer, which, if you haven't heard of it, what rock have you been living under? But the concept for the anime itself was so fucking weird that I did not actually believe it was real when I first heard of it, when I was like 14 to 15. But would you believe it? It is real, and we'll talk about it, and how insane it actually is. Now, what is it even about? In that universe, schoolgirls, Japanese schoolgirls to be specific, can practice a sport called Sensha Do, Panzerfahren or Tankery, depending on where you watch it from. It's either one of those three words, but they are all roughly the same thing. Just different translation, one is Japanese, one is English, and one is German. I have no idea why it is like that, but, it's anyone's guess. And we follow a school called Orai Girls Academy, who actually had given up the sport previously, but after our main character joins the school, it is resumed. Why did they resume it? Because our main character, Miho Nishizumi, has a background in sport, though she left the sport behind after a traumatic event in her previous school, aka some kids almost drowning in a tank. Yeah, kinda scary, if you think about it. Now, after Miho joins the school, she quickly becomes friends with two of her classmates, one of them being Hana Isuzu and other being Saori Takebe. They get along, and all of them want to support Miho in his fight against Sensha Do. But thanks to the student council president, Ansu Karatani, and let's just say her extreme perseverance, Miho picks up the sport again. And we also get introduced to new characters, and those characters make up the school's team. But since the school had dropped the sport like a long time ago, because let's just say they weren't exactly good at it, so now we spend an episode on finding the tanks they will eventually, find and use. But firstly, before we get to that, we actually need to talk about where the school is, because in that universe, a lot of the bigger schools are not on the ground. No, they are on massive fucking boats. Like massive ships. And they're like kilometers long. And the biggest is, probably like 4 kilometers long. Our main school, which is still very fucking big, is tiny compared to the bigger schools. Hooray! And on that ship they have built a city. It has apartments, it has, housing, convenience stores, shops of all kinds, forests, parks, grass, marshes, swamps, and for some fucking reason, a mountain. Some fucking bellend decided, how about we put an entire mountain on a ship? Ain't that fucking dumb? Now we continue with the searching for the tanks. One of them was found in the woods, one of them was just in a parking lot, one of them was in a bunny enclosure, one of them was deep inside the ship, one of them was immersed in water, and one of them was in the mountain I just told. AKA high up in the cliffside, in a cave, they had to rappel down there. How did it end there? No one knows. Once after that small tribulation, we get to see all the tanks they have at the time, because there will be more later on. They have the Panzer IV Ausf D, which later got changed to the Panzer IV Ausf F2, Panzer 38T, which later became Jagged Panzer 38T. And they had Type 89B, I Go, Stug 3 Ausf F, and M3 Lee. Those were the first tanks to be found. Later in the series we get more characters joining the team, and that means more tanks. And those tanks were Type 3 Chinu, Cha B1 Bis, VK45.01P, or as it is known as Porsche Tiger, and Mark IV. That's an old tank from like World War I. With their new final team, they decide to hold a little sparring match, well, against each other, and during this match we also get introduced to some of the new main characters, Yukari Akiyama and Mako Reise. Actually, Yukari joins during the search, but Mako joins during the match. Now that they have a functioning team, they can compete in the sport, and their first opponent is Saint Gloriana Girls Academy, which is based around the United Kingdoms, and the tanks they have, well, are of British design. And that is one of the strongest schools, and of course they lose it. Actually, now about the schools, real quick. We have the Orai Girls Academy, which is the main school, but has no theme. We have the St. Gloriana Girls College, then we have Saunders University High School, which is the largest of the schools, and most of their tanks are variants of the M4 Sherman, and they represent the United States. God bless. Anzio High School, well, they are poor and they love food, but you know, they're weird. They have a lot of tankettes, aka very small tanks, and they are like the underdogs, and they are inspired after Italy. Like, they do have like the only tank that is not from the World War II or World War I era. That's like from the Cold War. We have Pravda Girls High School, which is the Russians, and yeah, it's the Soviet Union. And then we also have one of the strongest teams, Kuro Morimine, and their tank arsenal and the tactics emulate the Wehrmacht. So yeah, they are the Germans. Then we also have some minor school we get to meet later on, like Jihatan Academy, which is Dutch Imperial Japan, Jatkosota High School, my personal favorite, because, well, the school is based on Finland, and funny enough, the students are excellent tank drivers and very accurate gunners, because what is Finland known for? Kimi Räikkönen, like, you know, Formula 1 drivers or like rally car drivers, and Simo Häyhä, aka like the world's best sniper. Now that the schools are out of the way, we get to, well, see more fights. And man, they are insane, you know, epic action and beautiful set pieces with great CG, like some of the best, especially with their tanks. Like, man, chef's kiss. And the action is very balls to the walls. If you come here expecting accurate tank warfare, don't. It's not that, okay? It is not that. It is so insane. One of my friends described it as, you know, they operate like, you know, racing cars. they kinda do that. Of course, the series ends in a climatic battle against Mihoso's school, the Kuromorimine Girls Academy. And also you would think, because there is still a 2-hour-long movie and 6-hour-long movies. And it's not over yet, there's only 4 movies out, so 2 are still remaining, and, you know, I guess I'll see the end in 4 years, you know. The release, like, actually, like, once or 2 years, I think. Now that you have an understanding of what the anime is and what roughly happens, we can discuss the stupidity of it. For some reason, even though the sport is very popular and practiced all over, like, there is never any mention of, like, accidental fatalities, because they spend a lot of time out of the tanks and, you know, popping their heads up from, like, the hatch on top. But for some reason, no one is ever being hit by those. Is that just dumb luck? Who knows? Like, that's some dangerous shit. Now, one of the things, the tanks are very realistic. Like, so realistic that, you know, it looks like they were scanned. Like, you know, from actual live tanks. They just scanned how they look and made those into 3D models, because you wouldn't get this level of, you know, accuracy unless you were to leak like official government documents, like some War Thunder player. That has happened, by the way. So yeah, Now, how does the sport work? Well, like many sports, there are two teams competing against each other, and the amount of tanks they can have is, well, at least 20. I have actually no fucking idea, but our main school only has 9 tanks in their disposal, like 6 when they started, so he ain't looking real good, my guy. And anytime tank is like badly damaged, or, you know, it will have a white flag pop up, which means the tank is out of commission. And, well, that tank can't be used in the game, or, well, that match to be specific. Well, and it sucks because now you have one less tank, right? But all teams have flag tanks, and if that is taken out of commission, you just lose. That is like literally the most important tank you can have. If it's destroyed, that means the game over, no matter how much you have, like, you know, how many tanks you have left, none of that matters at that point. And then it's always question, how are the girls safe? Like, usually if the, well, depending on where the bullet hits, the crew can fucking die, but apparently the sport is safe. It's never really, by our logic, it should not be, but it is. Well, the action in the anime is like, you know, insane. Like, if you love insane action, like, it is good to watch. Like, some of the fights will have you on the edge of your seat. Like, I was watching the 4th movie with one of my friends. I was literally just like, holy shit, this is intense. And we've got like meme clips from like the Finnish tank. You know that one? You know, the Finnish team, they lose their tracks on the tank, then they lose the other half of their wheels, and they still go fucking moving with only a half and still take down motherfuckers. They were batshit insane. And of course, you know, the voice acting and the soundtrack in the anime is fucking good, especially if you love orchestral music, because that is what the OST is all about. Well, also und Panzer is my favorite cute girls do cute things anime, or, well, would you call what they do cute, but since they're cute girls doing it, well, it is cute in tandem, right? And since the cast is very massive, you will definitely find someone to call a waifu. So, I would definitely encourage you to watch Girls und Panzer, right? Some other fun facts, or law accuracy, if you will. The Finnish team, Continuation High School, according to their law, most of their tanks are borrowed from Kuramorimine, the Germans, or stolen, or actually, no, I mean borrowed from Pravda, aka the Soviets. And, you know, if you know your World War II history, especially like Finnish history, the tanks the Finns used in the Winter War, well, were borrowed from Germans or stolen from Soviets. And here's actually a fun fact from the show. Back in 2016, a lot of Japanese people went to a pilgrimage to Finland. Why did they go there? They went to see the only BT-42 tank that is still together. Like, the only one that is not in pieces or in a scrapyard somewhere. And that is being held in the Parola Tank Museum. I've been there a couple times, it's fucking sick. And they went there with Kanteles, aka the instrument the Finnish character uses, and played Säkkijärven polka, as she did in the show. And the museum was crowdfunding a shelter for the BT-42 tank. And would you guess, a lot of the Japanese fans of the series donated over 10,000 euros for it. That means a bunch of weebs watched Girls und Panzer and decided, how about we crowdfund a shelter for a BT-42? And here is a screenshot from the Finnish government-sponsored magazine called Yle, and the headline reads, Japanese people on a pilgrimage with Kanteles in hand to look at the tank and funded 10,000 euros for a shelter. And that's Girls und Panzer. It's phenomenal. You should actually just watch it. Give your soul to it. Bye.